Welcome to Vesuvius.
In the year 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, destroying several nearby cities, including Pompeii and Herculaneum. These cities remained buried under ash for centuries, until they were rediscovered and excavations began in the 18th century. Walking through the ruins of these ancient Roman towns gives you an insight into what life was like almost 2,000 years ago.
And in this video, we're going to explore both of those ancient towns.
And we'll show you the best way to get up to the top of Mount Vesuvius so you too can look inside this volcano.
Yoo!
So heading down to Pompeii today, and we have bought our train tickets, €2.40 each way, and we actually have to change trains at Torre Annunziata. So the one that we're going to get on here is like a suburban train that stops all stations, and then the one that goes to Pompeii is an express, like this one coming through now. Even on the train journey, Mount Vesuvius was ever present. Buongiorno friends, and welcome to Pompeii. So today we are at the ruins of Pompeii. Because it is December, there's not really a line. If you were to come here in summer, apparently the line is about 2 hours long. So we're feeling very fortunate today. And Nigel apologises today as he's not feeling 100%. So you'll just have to deal with commentary just from me today. We are doing the Pompeii Express. Ticket is €18 per person. We have elected just to do our own wandering today. There are several maps around the park so you can see where you are and where you're going, but it's also well worth downloading the app either on iOS or Android, and that has like a guide to each place and an audio guide if you want to listen to it rather than read it, and an up-to-date list of the buildings that are open to the public and their visiting hours. In the background you can see Mount Vesuvius there. So Pompeii is famous and indeed is a UNESCO World Heritage Site because it gives an idea or a snapshot into what Roman life was like. The entire city was destroyed with the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, and the whole city was buried under 4 to 6 metres of ash. The city remained buried until around the 16th century when the ruins were rediscovered, and it wasn't until the 18th century that they actually started to dig it up, along with the birth of modern archaeology. And these excavations continued up until the 1960s when it was pretty much left in ruins. There had been a lot of looting. And since 2018, they have restarted the excavations here, and they're still finding new things here. Some of the areas in the city are extremely well preserved with frescoes on the walls, and indeed places where human bodies were. So you can actually see the casts in the ash where the human bodies were kind of entombed and then the bodies rotted away. So they have made plaster casts of some of those bodies, which we will probably see as we wander around. Our visit began as we walked through the city gates and up into the civic centre of the city. We're now standing in the basilica, and when we hear the word basilica we think of a church or a cathedral, but originally the word signified a courthouse or a public building. We are now in the main forum, and this was the main centre of civic life for the people of Pompeii. So this had all the public buildings, markets, and this was excavated in 1813. It's a very long time since I was last in Pompeii, and I've really forgotten just how much there is that you can see here. We walked up through the city, which is laid out grid style. We saw the remains of homes, shops, and even a brothel. So this is one of the little rooms in the brothel. It's called the lupinare, which means she-wolf. Yeah, the beds, and they weren't very tall either, were they? That lupinare was the only confirmed brothel here, so say the archaeologists. But apparently there were quite a number, as I guess you would expect in a city of, I think they say 20 to 30,000 people lived here. As we walked further, the buildings were even better preserved, from the mosaics to the frescoes still brightly coloured. Me, or does that symbol look a bit wrong? So this is one of my favourite places in all of Pompeii. This is the amphitheatre. But what's really cool is that Pink Floyd once played a concert here back in the 70s sometime. The concert was held in 1971, but there was no audience. The concert was the basis of the film Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii. In 2016, David Gilmour returned to Pompeii and performed this time in front of an audience. Well, we've visited the Colosseum in Rome. Now we've got the amphitheatre here in Pompeii. In the last couple of years, the tunnels at the amphitheatre have housed a photographic exhibition by the original film director, Adrian Marbin.
David Gilmour, the legend.
We walked back to the entrance as the sun was going down. Seeing the ruins at sunset was extra special. And with that, our visit to Pompeii comes to an end.
Today we're getting organised to head up to where?
Mount Vesuvius!
Sue's excited.
Certainly am.
Alright.
Before heading up the volcano, we checked out one of the other towns that was destroyed in the 79 AD eruption, Herculaneum.
We've arrived at Herculaneum.
Welcome to Herculaneum. This was a smaller town than Pompeii, and it was actually a wealthy seaside village. Now, apparently the town was discovered in 1709 when they were digging a well, and they did some excavations in the 18th century, but they've actually decided not to continue excavating here and rather to just preserve what they have. So as you can see, we're kind of surrounded by the modern day city of Herculaneum.
And we're just saying what's crazy to think is that one has to wonder how much of the ancient city of Herculaneum is underneath these very buildings here.
So you can easily walk around the outside, or if you want to go into the ruins, there is an entrance fee. And always ever present is Vesuvius looking over the town. The main difference between Pompeii and Herculaneum is that Pompeii was hit by falling ash and pumice rocks, which trapped many residents inside, whereas Herculaneum was destroyed by the second stage pyroclastic flow of ash and gas. Herculaneum was buried under 25 metres of ash, whereas Pompeii was only under 4 to 6 metres. The buildings in Herculaneum are far better preserved. The mosaics and frescoes look fresher and brighter. Are these mosaics still intact? And tiles still intact? When you walk through these houses, you get a really good idea of how the ancient Romans built their homes, like the way that the rooms were laid out. So even a lot of like the wooden parts of the houses has been preserved quite well. It's also quite uncanny to see how the ground has warped. I'm sure this would have been flat. You can see here a bit of evidence of some of the work that they're doing to preserve this site. Would have been cool to see them working. Well, I'm giving that a big thumbs up. Herculaneum, the tour through the ruins. In some ways, I think I preferred it to Pompeii.
It was very interesting.
We left the ancient city and walked back to the train station in the centre of town. Right where the train drops us off for the erculaneum, or the excavations of Herculaneum, is where we catch the bus, just here behind me, to go up Mount Vesuvius. And we're just coming for some lunch at this little bar restaurant here. We're going to get some sandwiches and some orange juice, and Nigel's already tucking into the chips. So we've just got some fresh squeezed orange juice, which is super fresh. Grazie. See oranges growing everywhere here, and of course they grow so well because of the really volcanic soil. We're now on the bus that's going to take us up to pretty much the top of Vesuvius. We're taking the bus because we didn't know that we'd be able to park the van. The road up Mount Vesuvius is narrow and winding, and it was definitely an adventure in a full-size bus. The journey up took about 20 minutes.
A bit of an exciting drive up, to say the least. Hopefully nothing's...
So we're on this tiny road, and there's the public bus. Eee, just... Go back, maybe.
Bigger than you.
The car park at the top is quite small, so we definitely made the right decision not bringing the van. So the bus has just dropped us off. We now have to show these tickets to go through the gate here. We've got just over an hour to get to the top and back. I don't know that that's enough time. I thought we had 2 hours, but anyway. I guess they call it the Vesuvio Express.
Vesuvio.
For a reason.
Have a good time here.
Grazie.
Right.
Grazie. Not sure if that means not hard. This is quite steep, but the views out over the Bay of Naples are absolutely incredible.
It's certainly pay to have 2 hours here.
Yeah. Whoa! Oh. Okay. I'm happy now. This is the volcano that erupted in 79 AD, destroying the Roman towns of Pompeii and Herculaneum. While that eruption in 79 AD was the big one that caused so much destruction, there have been other eruptions since, the most recent being in 1944. And even today, we can see steam coming out from the crater. Look at all that steam. So from here we've got views out to Sorrento, the Isle of Capri and the Ischia Islands, all the way down to the Bay of Naples. So we've had about an hour to walk up and back down, which is just enough time. A bit longer would have been nice to explore a little bit more at the top.
We've got a bit of a queasy passenger here. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good.
You made it.
I know. Oh,
Jeez.
feeling a bit queasy still.
It was a bit of a hectic trip.
No, the driver did a great job. He was really good.
Yeah.
It's just that road was, not great.
Yeah.
While we've been staying in the Naples and Pompeii region, we've been staying at this sosta camper sosta. I think sosta is the Italian word for parking lot. So you can stay overnight here. There are a whole lot of campers that are parked up. I think they're kind of long-term van storage. Most of the time that we've been here, it's been us and one or two others. We're just about to leave today, and before we go, we need to empty all our rubbish, empty our grey water, our toilet, and fill up our water. So it's really convenient that we've got all those things right here. Come here, Ferdinando. Don't get run over. This is Ferdinando, the campsite dog. This place is manned 24/7, which is really convenient. We love the security, and when we're leaving the van all day, it's good to know that it's safe. We're safe overnight, so with the place being manned 24/7, we've got that security. There is one toilet and shower here. I can attest, as you can see, I've got wet hair. Just washed my hair this morning. It's nice and hot, the shower. And it's €30 a night in the high season, which is July, August, December, January, and €25 a night for the rest of the time. So now just filling up the water from the potable water, and what you'll see here in Italy, it's really good. They've got all the different bins for recycling. I'm not sure what umido is. Carta and cartone is paper and cardboard. This one, vetro, is glass, plastic and cans, and then mixed garbage. After leaving the camper sosta, we drove some crazy narrow roads to get our gas refilled before heading down to the legendary Amalfi Coast. Join us next time as we drive along this beautiful coastline and explore part of the Amalfi you might not have heard of. Thanks for watching this one, and we will see you next time.